Hello, everybody. Hello, Olive Beauty Empire, the first one on. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh, what in God's name is this guy doing? Hold on 1 second, people. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Anyway, hi everyone. Thank you. Thank you for not wanting. Hey, Miss Sanctuary, for not wanting to miss it. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hi, happy new month. Happy October, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in. Make sure I'm on Facebook. Okay. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, can y'all hello, Mr. Covina. How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. Hello, Mr. Michael. Uh I'm doing well. Universe Authorizer. That's an interesting username. Happy October. Hello, Miss Peggy. Like your workout with your son. Thank you. I think I won. Some haters were like, no, TJ, no. You gotta judge by the form. And I had to show that 15-year-old that that I still got it. Don't listen. I may have had him at 32. Well, it did before I turned 32. Let me roll my eyes when you spend your birthday in the hospital, but for a good cause. I was like, I still got it, boy. But did my knees suffer the next day? Yeah. Who we kidding? Let's let's tell the truth. I woke up. I was like, auntie, tolerance. It's like, what in God's name? You know how you wake up and you're wondering what happened to my back or what happened to my neck? Did I roll my neck? I woke up. I was like, graduating being in the Southern community here. Well, yes, we are. I woke up. I was like, what happened to my knees? And then I remember, like, I didn't respect myself the night before. But my kids, the funny thing is, it's amazing. My kids actually are, good evening. My kids are actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Motivating me to actually to have like a workout routine. Believe it or not, like kids will teach you. They will teach you stuff because both my boys are very very active. My oldest kid, he's into fitness. I call it his nickname is Popeyes because he's got the muscle and all that. Or he's telling like, do you want me to buy spinach for you? And then TJ's into sports. I mean, TJ went from having 1 pack to 6 pack. I was like, what? So they actually do workouts. So living with people who work out, I was like, oh. And then my oldest kid, is in college, is on campus, does virtual core strength and core training with me. Like no, he's committed. And so if they're going to be committed, I don't have a choice but to be committed by force, by fire, by force, workout in. But it's all good. Happy October, y'all. Yeah, please share this video with your friends and family. You might be helping and reassuring somebody. That's true. Happy October, happy new month. Welcome to the 10th month of 2025, which is going to mean that God is going to intensify your blessings 10 times over. And the number 10 is very important. I want my mama to look the part. Tell me about listen, that's why I told him, say, ask you, that's my sister. Ignore the gray hair. She those are highlights. So welcome to the 10th month of the year 2025. God is going to multiply all our blessings, our expectations. Ignore my fingers. I have super glue on my fingers. And it's like an effect with the super glue. It's a long story. Yeah, I have super glue all over my fingers. But anyway, going to Let's make her solid too. Going to multiply your blessings this month, 10 times over. This 10th month of 2025, it's also our 10th year anniversary for the Olaleye law firm. I still cannot believe that it is a decade. Like I was a baby, I was like two. But so this is not just the 10th month. It also is. It has the significant meaning of being a 10th year we've been in business. And I remember it just like yesterday. Just like yesterday. Like, God, where are we? Let me see what's going on here. Hold on 1 second, people. I think why is this blue? It's not supposed to, but anyway, I'll figure that out later on. But not knowing what I was gonna do. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to get information here so I can get the topic that we're going to talk about updated. Okay, there we go. All right. But just waiting on God and believing that God was going to do what he promised to do, not knowing a whole decade. Thank you, Jesus. It really is all but solely God's grace, just God's grace, nothing else but the grace of the Almighty. It has not been by my power or strength, because I don't have anything to do anything by myself. But God reigns supreme. He is God. Just leave it in his hands, and he will make a way where there seems to be no way. But then again, when you are at the point where you don't have a choice but to succeed, you don't have a choice but to succeed, really. You just lost, you lost your dad. You haven't worked in God knows how long because you were a stay-at-home mom. You're going through a divorce, and you're not getting alimony. A lot of people always like, hey, your ex-husband is a physician. Yeah, but he's also an Ekiti man. Yes, no alimony. I actually, truth be told, I walked away from it because that was going to keep me in court forever. And I was like, I remember my attorney, and even the judge called me and was like, hey, you do understand that this is what you're entitled to. And if you give that up, now you cannot come back to court and ask for that. You've been, home with the kids for over a decade. It's like, I understand, but it's going to keep me here fighting, and I can't do it. I just, I just want out. And they're like, okay, we have to put in a record. I know. I'm giving it up. I want out. And so, let me stop wondering. I knew what I was getting myself into, and I tell you that Scott was like, "Are you sure? How you gonna? No, don't worry about me. If there's God, I'll be fine." And so, but that's what you call radical faith. That's what you call radical faith, because you don't have a choice but to succeed. Like, you don't have your son on your thinking. There's no other way. You got to do it. But it's been God, and I'm just grateful. And thank you for all the support on y'all over the years. I do not take that for granted. I really do appreciate that. So here's to many, many more decades to keep doing this work that we do. Many more decades, many more years of God's faithfulness and his grace, in spite of what may be. He would continue to give us strength to keep going and to keep making an impact and changing lives in the work that I do. There's nothing like it, knowing that you impact someone else's life. And October is off to a great start. I was leaving the office, and Miss Pam. So Miss, a lot of people, if you're joining us within the last maybe year, you may not know Miss Pam. But Miss Pam has been a constant. She's a staple in our community. She has a green card now. She has her green card. It's been how long? Let's see. But it's been over a year. But Miss Pam's daughter is back home. Thank you. She's back home. So we filed the I-824. It's been a minute, but starting October, today I was leaving the office and we got the notification that it's been approved. So her daughter is one step closer to getting to the United States. There's nothing like knowing that you're a part of bringing people together, reuniting family members, and just making sure that families stay together. And that's one thing I always remind my kids. My kids are American born, but it's just also a teaching moment for them because it's CJ especially knows he's so used to hearing green card or hearing me talk about immigration and people's lives and others. So even some of his friends join on TikTok, but just to let people who do not understand the extent people have to go, because but for their father and I coming from another country, they would not have the privilege to become American born citizens. So we just that's what it is, bringing people, yeah, bringing reuniting families and keeping families together so that the next generations would not have to go through what we have had to go through. Because imagine you've got your kids here, they're American citizens, whether they're naturalized or they're American born, for many, many years, for the rest of their lives, their generations would not have to worry about getting papers, whether they're born here or not, because they will acquire citizenship from their parents. And so, well, unless they decide to marry somebody, but even if they decide to marry somebody else that is not American born, they would be able to file for the person. So, my prayer is that in spite of what's going on, hello, Miss Anyola, around in the country, because if you listen to the news every day, you will be drained. But when you remember that there's no one that is in power, no, if we have all look like this in the sense of we are breathing and we are human, it's because we have grace that was given to us, not any power of our own. And so the same God whose breath we are borrowing, really borrowing his breath so we can exist and survive and thrive, he is still in charge. And if it's going to make us, if there's anything that's going to change the trajectory of our destiny, if he would take it out and he would eradicate it, silence all opposition on our behalf. That's what we're speaking into the month of October. That whatever it is that he has ordained for us, that plan, whoever wants to be in the way of the multiplication and acceleration of our blessings and our breakthroughs, they shall be taken out and they will be silenced. Not because, and no, I'm not saying go kill nobody. I'm just saying that is how God works. He will silence all opposition, any suppression, against each and every that attempts to come against any of us. Know that but you cannot operate in fear. You've got to operate under faith. Let faith be louder than your fear, and know that God is not good. So it may be the 10th month of the year, like, okay, the year is about to end. That's okay. Again, it doesn't take more than a fraction of a second for God to turn things around. And so we keep believing, we keep praying, trusting that as long as God remains in control, that's what he is in control, and no one can change the plans he has for our lives. And so shall it be. All right, welcome in everybody. This is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale. I'm an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. You're always in black, yeah. I mean, it is what I do. Any other questions? If we can help you with your immigration case, contact our office 334-341-4475. Visit our website at olalealawfirm.com. Send us an email, info@olalealawfirm.com. We'll be glad to represent you. You're not right. Hey, y'all, let me tell you something. A day will come. I'm going to tell you I will sit down and we'll talk about whoever wants to talk about their journeys. Hey, I tell you something. For instance, the very first year that I opened my firm, and this is to let you know that if we want to make a living, but if it's just about making a living that's propelling you and motivating you and pushing you and it's your motivating factor, your focus is wrong. When I tell you the first year of business, by the time we're done with expenses and all, we made a profit of $250. I ain't kidding you, y'all. I'm not kidding you. It's like profit of $250. And ordinarily, someone else, or you'll be discouraged, like, okay, a whole law firm, paid it, so what? That was the profit, right? But instead of being discouraged, I said, okay, at least we made a profit. You see, when people say you see the glass half full and not half empty, you have to change your perspective. Your perspective makes room for you so that when things look like they're just going left and nothing is working, yes, it's not making sense. But when you've got what we call radical faith in God, knowing that when you're hoping, that's the definition of hoping against hope. And I was like, okay, I couldn't even afford a full-time assistant then. But I was like, okay, at least we made profit. That was my mentality. And it was a case of, oh, we've got savings and I have to, but I had to keep going because I know that I was really where I was supposed to be, to know exactly what God has called me to do. And with time, growth will come. And so that was the first year of business. And so if you're looking for something to be a motivating factor for you, know that there's nothing you're going through right now that God is not aware of. And there's no circumstance He cannot change. But because it gets tough doesn't mean you give up. If it's tough right now, it's not going to be tough forever. Sometimes we have the test because God wants to see how much you can take. If you cannot trust us with the little, how can He trust us with a whole lot of blessings? How do you operate when it looks like things are not working? How do you operate, or when it looks like you have just a little? Can you be trusted with much more? And so 10 years later, I'm still the same person back then. I'm seeing it just the same way I saw it then. Now, do we like the finer things of life? Of course. I mean, I'm a VI in the Victoria Land will be that. What can I say? And then my parents gave me Ola name, or Abisola Adebola Folake. I'm still, yeah, Bankida. I don't know if she's saying. I'm still asking them, where is the Ola? Like, where? But it was like, when you have wealth in all of your names, you gotta find it somehow. But anyway, so just keep believing. If once again, our contact number is 334-341-4475. So let's talk immigration, y'all. What are we talking about tonight? Let's see. Let me go back here. Where am I? There we go. Where did this go? No, that's not. Somebody change this. Okay, who? Oh Lord, I hope it's not this guy with my computer. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm trying to get back to here. Okay. Y'all gonna bear with me. We had some updates on my computer today, so I think some things were changed, and I'm trying to see where this goes. Anyway, okay. What you need to know as far as immigration, giving up is not an option. It's not. What you need to know as far as immigration updates, or what's going on in immigration news. Let's talk about that. Now, let's start with DACA. And don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, share on all our social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, at Olale Immigration. Just put in at Olale Immigration on any of the platforms. You see our pages. Be sure to follow us. That would be very much appreciated. All right. So important things that you need to know that's going on in the immigration world. Number one, I'm sure unless you're living on the rock, you've heard about DACA coming back and all that, or not coming back, but back in the sense of, for about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years, USCIS has not been able to process new DACA applications. DACA is for people, you have to be a certain age. There's a cutoff here, certain age, brought here without papers, or even if you came in legally but you don't have any papers, and as long as you satisfy the cutoff age and the year that you should have been here, then you may qualify for DACA. And that basically is a deferred action that guarantees that you will not be placed in removal proceedings as long as you have that DACA protection. So for the last 4 or 5 years, you've not been able to file a new DACA. Well, you've been able to file it, but USCIS has not been able to approve any new applications. Those who've already had their DACA are still able to renew it. Anyway, long story short, federal court just ruled that the DHS is supposed to put out the plan, but basically where we're going is new applications that have been pending where they have not been able to, USCIS has not been able to approve them, will start being approved once more. And then people who are not able to file new ones, you can continue filing new DACA applications. Now, the reason why we've not put any post up about this is the reason. There isn't, as of the time that I came on, there isn't a final order in place yet. So we don't know. USCIS has not put any updates on their website. We do not know what the final ruling or final outcome or final decision is going to look like. So we're being cautiously optimistic. Let me put it that way. Believing that it's going to work out fine, but just in case, so you're aware that it may or may not, we just have to wait until there's actually something in writing where we can say this is what they have to follow. This is what the ruling USCIS has to go by, and then USCIS are going to say, okay, now we'll start approving or processing new DACA applications, and if you qualify, you can now submit your application as well. So because there hasn't been that yet, is why we haven't done any full post about that. So we're just waiting, but that's what's going on in the DACA world. And so if you qualify, that may be something you want to talk to an attorney about, just in case, it comes out and you're able to do that. So that's that on DACA. When it comes to asylum, if you've got a pending, hello, Mr. if you got a pending asylum case, whether it's with EOIR or with USCIS, effective October 1st, actually September 30, but October 1st, there is a requirement. Okay, there we go. So this is what I was looking for. Let me put it here. So important immigration news to know. There is a requirement beginning October 1st. There is a requirement that if your asylum case has been pending since October 1st, 2024. So basically, if your case has been pending for at least a year, you are going to be required to pay an annual asylum fee of $100 a year. For USCIS, they updated the information today that they have started sending out notices to those who have asylum cases pending with USCIS. So let me pull that up again and see. So you can, I'm going to tell you now. Give me 1 second. USCIS asylum update. Okay, so I'm just going to read this. Okay, here we go. I think so. Annual fee. So effective October 1st, USCIS has started sending out notices to applicants whose case has been pending as of for a year. So if your case has been pending since October 1st, 2024, then you're going to be required to pay the annual asylum fee of $100. It has to be, so the notice would tell you when it is due, when you're supposed to pay it, what the consequence of not paying it is, and it's going to be paid through your USCIS. It's going to be paid online, and mostly whether it's going to be through your USCIS online account, it's possible, but notice will tell you. So they've started sending out notices to our applicants that have their cases pending as of October 1st, since October 1st, 2024. There's going to be $100 paid. If your case is pending with EOIR, it's going to be paid through the court. So that's that on asylum fees. And talking about asylum as well, if you have a C8, which is the asylum category, C8 category EAD, asylum EAD, keep in mind that there are now additional fees. Either, it used to be that if you're filing your EAD with the EAD, asylum-based EAD for the first time, there was no fee for that. But there's still no filing fee, but there's additional fee based on this big, beautiful, whatever bill they said they passed. So for someone who is just filing an asylum-based EAD C8 category for the first time, you're going to be paying $550. And if for someone who is renewing, I think it's going to be $745. Or if you're paying by, I forget the total what it is if you're paying through mail. So keep in mind that it's initial asylum-based EAD is no longer free. There is now a filing fee or fee attached to that when it comes to asylum. So with asylum, there's going to be $100 annual fee. EAD, there's also going to be additional fees. There's no longer a free EAD option for asylum seekers. They're trying to make it just really, really tough. So that's DACA, that's asylum. Next thing is citizenship. Effective October 20, 2025, which is 18 days from now. If you are filing for citizenship, October 20 and after, you're going to be doing the new civics test. So it's going to be 128 questions. They can ask you up to 20 questions. You have to get at least 12 questions correctly. So it's going to be double the civics test. So right now it is 10 questions. You have to answer 6 out of 10 correctly, 100 questions to practice. It's going to, so basically what they introduced during their first term is what they're bringing back. So if you know that you don't care for to do any additional tests or any additional reading, whatever the case may be, then you want to make sure you file your citizenship application before October 20, 2025. Because once it's October 20, 2025, anyone that files their N400 from that day after, you're going to be taking the new test. Now, I'm not really sure about whether or not the essay component is going to be part of that effective October 20, but we'll just have to wait to see. So that's that. There's still time to file your, let me charge my computer real quick. Still time to file your N400 way before then, so you don't have to do the, so just so you know. Fees. If you are, so starting October 28, there's quite a bit of be going on immigration with this October. Starting October 28, 2025, USCIS will no longer accept money orders or checks for filing fees. So right now, up until October 27, 2025, you're able to still make, because you can always make payment with credit card. You're also able to make credit card or debit card. But starting October 28th, they would no longer, if you send your application with a check or money order, USCIS is going to reject it and they're going to send it back to you. And keep in mind that that can cause delays, and depending on the type of application you file, you just don't want to risk that for yourself. So starting October 28th, you're going to use either of two forms. There is Form G1450, which is what we currently have for credit and or debit card. But for bank withdrawals, bank paying through ACH bank withdrawals, you're going to use Form G1650. So keep that in mind. So they're going, and everything as far as payment is going to be electronic. No more checks, no more money orders. Now, what we usually do in our firm is, because a lot of people, some people just don't have, and you can use your credit card. But for me, I love to know when USCIS has cashed the filing fee, because that's usually our first indication that, okay, yes, they've accepted the case, we're good to go, yada, yada, yada. So what we are going to be doing for our clients is, normally our clients will send us money orders. So that's not going to change if you are in the process of filing with us or whatever the case may be. That's not going to change. So we already have a business account anyway. That's what we usually used for filing fees. That's what we've always used for filing fees. The only difference is just that rather than writing a check, we just use the forms now. So if you have an attorney in your case, it's probably going to be much easier to do that way because they would have a system in place. So that's that on payment of fees. And then lastly, sponsorship. So USCIS has decided that, and this is not anything new. This always been, but it just are like they want to remind they want to remind petitioning spouses or joint sponsors. And I think because they know a lot of people use joint sponsors for cases, now they want to make joint sponsors afraid to put down their information for people who are filing marriage-based green cards. So now they've put it, they've released, they made a release saying that just a reminder, they call it a reminder for those who are to be reminded that your sponsored immigrant cannot apply for government benefit. That's the whole point of that part in the I-485 that, that ask you about public charge and all of that. So as you as the sponsor, they're being reminded that you've got an agreement with the U.S. government that you're going to be financially responsible for your sponsored immigrant. If you are a joint sponsor on a marriage-based case, you are also as equally responsible as the petitioning spouse for that person. And so USCIS put a release up and said they are reminding citizens and green card holder sponsors that if that sponsored immigrant applies for any government benefit, Medicaid, food stamps, housing vouchers, whatever the case may be, they will come, because it's been very lax. No one has really, some people, I think in 10 years I've only had, not my own case, not my own clients, but I've only heard of one case where someone actually, a joint sponsor actually sued the petitioning spouse, literally a court case, but I won't go into that. But it wasn't my case anyway. It was just because it's very rare, and that's why it was really shocking. So now the U.S. government is saying, if your sponsored immigrant applies for anything government related at all, they will come after you, the petitioning spouse and the joint sponsor, to reimburse the U.S. government for whatever benefit that person, for the financial equivalent of whatever benefit that person takes from the government. And if the petitioning spouse or the joint sponsor do not reimburse the government, then the government is going to file a lawsuit against them. So in other words, they just want, people to, because as a joint sponsor, if you hear that, like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. That's exactly what they want. They want you to be afraid to do that and to sponsor people. That's really what they're trying to do. It doesn't mean, listen, the truth of the matter is, for we immigrants, and that's just the truth, we do not come here to live on a handout. We have too much pride for that. Pride not in an arrogant way, but pride in, like, we will work our butts off before we sit down and take handouts. It is just the way we are, not just, name it, Africans, Caribbeans, especially Africans and Caribbeans. We are too much, we have too much, imbibed in us as far as holding your heads up. And you don't even want someone to say you kill and look back. No, you. How many immigrants and nothing? This is not being condescending, but how many immigrants do you see in Section 8 housing? No, because people want you. They want to shine. They want to keep up with the Joneses. Like, you ain't going. We want to be able to park the Mercedes and the Infiniti and the BMWs and all of that in a home that matches it. That's just the truth of the matter. But unfortunately, when you have a joint sponsor that hears something like this, they're going to like, okay, no, I don't want to have a problem with the U.S. government. But if you are in a situation where someone is like, hey, I heard on the news that USCIS is going to, or the US government is going to come after us, let them know that as an immigrant, you're not looking, there's no how you're going to get them in trouble. Hopefully this doesn't scare people away from helping people that really, because obviously if you don't have the income level, an I-45 is not going to be approved. But anyway, so that's that. Let me see. And I think that's about all the information I have tonight. Just means everything that's going on in the news, so you guys are up to date with what's going on. But cases are still being approved. We're still getting green cards. We've got 2 green cards that came in today, and USCIS is still working. The government shutdown is not affecting USCIS. Really, I think even the courts are still open. So hopefully these people can get their stuff together. I'm not sure how a group of grown folks cannot come together and rule this country the way they should, but it is what it is. But anyway, that's all sure, people. That's all sure. That's all the information I got tonight. Hi, Mr. 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕, how are you? All right. Y'all folks on Facebook and TikTok, thank you. That's quite a number of people tonight. So please share. Let people know what's going on, so they have the information that they need. All right, let's get to some questions. Happy New Month to you as well. Let's get to some questions. Please do not repeat your questions. Please do not repeat your questions. If a question is repeated, it's going to be skipped. It's just very simple. So let's get to, let me see. Oh, we got plenty of time. All right, let's see. Hello, Miss Zoe. How are you? Okay. God's chosen. I'm well. Yo, it's not even funny. So the extent of my, it's really bad. Because like I said, I have super glue all over, not only on my hand. This is one of my favorite crop tops ever. I love this crop top. I just love it. Guess what happened to it? I'm telling you, that's the perfect analogy, Miss 𝐸𝐵. So I actually have super glue through my crop top, so it burned through it. And I'm too ejected to be making all this kind of craziness. But anyway, does anybody know how you can, like, it literally has burned? Is there a solution for getting super glue? Like, I don't even know, because it's really just burned through it. Hello, Ollie. How are you? I'm doing well. How about yourself? So anything about processing time, how long, please go on uscis.gov/processing times. If your question is about how long it's taking for spouses, parents to get their immigrant visa interviews at the embassy, it is very subjective, depending on that's when on the embassy to schedule the interviews and all that. So no 2 interviews have the same timeline. Back. Thank you. I always enjoy listening to you, especially how you make things look achievable through God, because they are. You've got to believe. I'm telling you what. Listen, I've lived through it. I'm living it. Radical faith is a thing. You just don't have a choice, but you put everything you've got in God. When you get to the level where you just don't have a choice, because everything I love with. Oh my God, here I am. Nowhere else to go. You've got to help me. I have nowhere else to turn. My faith is solidly in you, solidly in. I have nowhere else, no one else to turn to. I can't fail, because I know you cannot fail, because I have the assurance that you cannot fail. That means I cannot fail. That's it. So, hey, that's it. Thank you. I passed through the border. I was inspected. Can I apply for parole? Sit down with the lawyer to figure out what it is you were given, so you know. I'm exactly. I don't even know what pro you're talking about. Let's see. All right, so success from books. I was going to answer your question, but since you decided to put it, God knows how many times, it's going to be skipped. Okay. Okay, what if I am a pending asylum seeker and recently applied for a marriage base yesterday? What questions, responses to your questions, general information, nothing specific to anyone's case, but please ask me a question. What if what? So what if about what if? So what is the question? Okay, so Rex 222, I was going to answer your question, but you decided to put it so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's at least 10 times. So we're going to skip it all together. It's just really okay. Put it in decorative material or something designed on the glue part. It's a black top. It's going to be, I mean, and I've had it for a while. More if I will allow you because those kind of tops that you just want to save. I was like, okay, there's no because people always say you want to save things for some occasion like you gotta remind yourself every day is a blessing. Every day is an occasion to celebrate because it's a blessing to have each in a new day. Lo and behold, and my assistant was like, hey, see, this is why you have to listen to because I'm very strong headed. If I have my mind set on something, and when you've been, because as a single parent, you have to figure things out on your own. And so my sister was like, "I'm going to fix out. I'll get it done tomorrow." I felt like the tomorrow was just far too far away, so it's like I can figure this out. I'll do it myself. I'm not waiting. Yeah, so I don't have anyone else but myself to blame. So that's what happened. And at the end of the day, I couldn't get it done. Besides ruining my clothes and my fingers. Lesson learned. Emani ti ni mo ti emi gan ti búra mi. Se file. Yeah, it is what it is. So, as I say, yes. Will the shutdown affect? So that's what I just said. We don't. USCI is a self-funded agency, so they fund themselves through the filing fees, and so they're not waiting on government to get a budget from the government. So we shouldn't see any issues with USCIs. But now, keep in mind, this is an administration that there's nothing predictable with them. Anything can happen. Will you be charged for the pending? Whether you apply for a marriage-based case or not is irrelevant to you paying the fee. It doesn't matter what else you have pending, as long as you've got the asylum pending and it's been pending since October 1st, 2024. Then you have this. For those whose case has been pending since then, will pay. So as you get to that 1 year mark, if your case is pending 1 year, when your case has been pending for 1 year, you're going to be paying the annual fee. So it doesn't matter what else you got going on. Should I be leaving Texas or should I wait for the order? Leave Texas for okay. So thank you for even reading that. So the DACA thing, even though it's going to, and hopefully it will be back. There will be an order, but Texas is exempt. So because that lawsuit was filed in Texas. They're saying, and so it's going to be applicable. Everyone else in any of the states can file, but for those who are residents of the state of Texas, the injunction would still be applicable. So that's where that question is coming from. I can't tell you to leave, but if you know you qualify for DACA and the order comes out and it's confirmed, then you've got to decide at that point. But obviously, I don't know if there's going to be some residency requirement because a lot of people will leave Texas. So why would they stay? Well, we'll see. Okay. If you want to just buy the exact one again, it's been a while. That first of all, It's been a while. That's number one. But number two, if it was not even a while, going, I get to understand, but auntie, I'm happy, Jebel. So if I don't have to spend money, I don't. That's so I'd rather see my money in the bank. Cause your mola, your mo. So it doesn't mean I can't. And I'm sure I think I got it from TJ Maxx. So obviously it's not something that's very expensive. But I'd rather keep my money. But now I'm telling you, literally, super glue is really strong. I don't even surely don't think you know everything. And I think as Africans, I'm not feel I'm everything. Over Sabi, because my sister would have taken care of it tomorrow. And at the end of the day, she still has to take care of it tomorrow because I couldn't figure it out. What I just did was to burn my clothes with super glue. Yeah. And this is not what's it up around me, is she? I have advanced parole until 2028. The CBP stamped it for only 1 year from entry date. Is it normal? Yes, that's absolutely normal. Okay. Can a green card holder student apply for FAFSA? Generally, yes, but I'm not to say disclaimer. General information. I'm not telling you to go. I'm just about giving you general information, but generally, yes. Can my green card? This is not so green card. FAFSA is that has to do with student loan. So listen, this is as far as FAFSA is concerned. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Then now, don't quote me on that because like we don't know with this administration. They come up with all kinds of stuff. These are people that are not following the law. These are people that are deciding what law it's going to pay them, and if it doesn't pay them, they don't care. By the time you've got the so-called, some Republicans not going against their own. When the enemies start to fight against each other, isn't that how God speaking on our behalf? So just take a back seat and be looking. Okay, all right. In merciful God, we thank God. I love that username. All right, let's see. Good evening, Mama Babasa. Mama Babasa, Munio. October is usually one of those months for me. When we start October, because I lost my dad exactly 10 years ago, October 2025. Funny thing, not funny thing. The day I signed the contract for my office was the day my dad passed away. Literally. The day I signed the contract for my office was the day my dad passed away. And my dad was the only person who knew that I was going to open my law firm. So my voice is kind of scratchy because it's been a very, very emotionally draining day, roller coaster day today. For many, many good, but also, because that wasn't when it was the only one that knew I was going to start my law firm. Even my mom didn't know. But the day I signed my contract, the day he took his last breath, for me, I choose to see it as he was saying, okay, I know you're going to be fine. Now it's time for me to go on the other side of heaven and be your guardian angel. So, but yeah, so it's usually one of those months. Thank you. I didn't miss tonight, already in bed. Listen, Miss Peggy, I feel you. Hello, Miss VME. How are you? Oh, we got your old ceremony notice. I think we got it in the mail. I'll try to send it to you, but you already have a copy. But I'll send you our copy. You won, but TJ was not ready. He may have just wanted me to win. Good evening, sweet people of Outland Law from community. We're gradually building. So one of the things I want to try to achieve this month, and we'll let you know when that's up, because I just don't know if I have time. but I'm going to try to make time. I want to create a Facebook group where it would be like my giving back, because I'm trying to think of what can I do in celebration of this decade. So where people can join. I was thinking of a subscription before, but knowing me, I probably would make it free. And have questions, and people can come together and run, but I will answer questions from time to time where it will be as specific as possible. But I have to put things in place where it's like it doesn't create an attorney client situation kind of thing. But I think that's one of the things I want to do, so people can come. And obviously, nothing takes the place of a specific detailed evaluation through a paid consultation. But I think having a group also where if you just need, but we'll figure it out, because it would be worthwhile if it's something that I can stop by every day or every other day, so that the questions don't pile up and people get answers, and it's worth your while to do that. So I think it's going to be, so to build that even it's much stronger community together. And so you've got a place where you can ask questions and all that. But we'll let you know. We'll put a post up if that comes. Hopefully I can get to it, but we'll see. That will be something that I want to do. Let's make a solid 2, right? Oh, actually, I was in court last week. 24th was last week was the 24th. Yeah, last week Wednesday. And one of the attorneys was like, "Have you been lifting weight?" I was like, "What? Why you ask?" Because you look toned. I was like, "Well." So I was really feeling myself. So I got home. I told my kid SJ. I was like, somebody actually noticed that I'm toned or getting toned. And he had the smirk on his face like, well, he used to give me arguing with me like, boy, please, I'm just letting you know what they said. And I'm too much of an African mother. I've become my mother. I really have become my mother. Let's see. You said you have to be in the pulpit to do ministerial work. Thank you, Exactly. 90 more testimonies. Amen. So shall it be. So shall it be. Can a visitor drive with their country of original driver's license, your international driver's license? Every state is different, so that's not an immigration question, because that's cops. That's the risk. What you risk is being pulled over, but it becomes an immigration issue if it's seen like you're driving with that license. But the thing is, as long as you have a valid visa, not a valid visa, your I-94 is still valid in the sense of you're driving within a time frame. You probably get a citation. Because immigration, it implicates an immigration issue if you're out of status. So driving while you have a valid I-94 is not going to make them call ICE on you because you have a valid I-94. Okay. Giving up is not an option. It is not. You gotta hold on until I love that. They're acting like couples in a bad divorce. Children are suffering. That's what's happening with the U.S. government right now. I'm telling you. But try to wet it. Depending on the material, you might be able to peel it off when it's wet. Okay. I know it's stretchy. I think it's made of. Most of my clothes have spandex. If it doesn't stretch, I'm not wearing it. I'll try that and see. Can my college child For you mean can he file for you, but he doesn't have a job? He doesn't have to have a job as long as he's at least 21 years old. He's a citizen and he's 21 years old. Then that's the whole thing of talking about a joint sponsor. That's where that comes into play. So there's nothing that requires a petitioner to have a job. If they don't have a job, they still have to file an I-864 affidavit of support. But if they don't have a job, no income to report, that's where a joint sponsor comes in. It's either God or God. I love that. That is it. That is it. Those are the options you've got. You've got losses and lawyers on this. That's where it works. Everyone comes in. If you know how I even got this, you would be embarrassed for me. So let me not say it because I wasn't thinking. I was very focused on I have to get this done so my sister can see that I didn't have to. You know that thing of I don't need you. That's been my biggest problem. Listen, let me go my so there's nothing you're gonna say. I already know my own fault. I know my fault. Get to someone to song. So there's no problem. It's welcome to the rest of this. Amen. Thank you. Hello, Miss Khadija. How are you? Let's see. How heavy and how often do you lift? I'm not planning to be a bodybuilder. Even 5 foot tall. No, I'm always fighting with my kid when we do workouts. He has the patience of a saint, I'm telling you, because I need you to represent someone. Calling you tomorrow. Okay. If you call us when you call us, my assistant will send you the information for them to schedule their consultation. Thank you for the referral. When can one apply for citizenship as an asylee? 5 years. Can you renew a residency card a year in advance, or do you have to wait 6 months prior? 6 months. How long can you apply for citizenship if you mean when can you apply for citizenship if you're married to a U.S. citizen? 3 years, 90 days before the 30th anniversary, unless you are in the military. Military, then you're not waiting 3 years. Okay. What steps do I take if my spouse is not willing to file removal of conditions with me? You can see because that's control right there. So steps you can take. The first step to take is to sit down with a lawyer, figure out what self-petition, what waiver grounds you will qualify for on your own, where you don't need the spouse. Okay. I was given a NOID around May this year and was given 1 month to submit some documents, and my attorney did. I'm yet to get a response from USCIS, and I'm still worried. My attorney submitted all necessary documents in June 9 deadline, but I have not received any response. You're not going to receive. They don't. Sometimes you get an acknowledgement on your case tracker that we received we received your response to our notice of intent to deny or RFE. Sometimes you don't. So what's your question? Thanks for what you do for humanity. Thank you. Y'all, I've already had a very emotional day. Making don't add to it. I appreciate it, but will go over. And then super glue was the icing on the cake. I was like, let me just go home. Can I do virtual consultation with you even if you're not representing me? That's the whole point of consultation. If you have a case that's pending or you want a second opinion, whatever the case may be. So if you go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, you get to schedule one on your own, or you can send a text to us on WhatsApp, 334-341-4475. But the fastest way is go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com. You get to schedule a consultation there. I think we will be doing, I don't know what it's the second day of October. My brain is not really there yet, but I'm sure we'll do something in celebration of 10 years. We'll see. It just depends on what I feel like. I don't know. I haven't thought that far. I just need to get some sleep this week because it's been one of those weeks. But anyway, I feel I will be comfortable talking with you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I get that a lot though. And I make people cry. Well, I don't make people cry. People cry a lot when they have conversation with me. So I don't know if it's like me making them cry or, but that's one thing I feel. There's a lady who I consulted with on Monday. I'm telling you, I felt like I was like, okay, we haven't gone therapist in me that just, but it was just no. I think she had held it in for so long. She was looking for a safe space to just let it out, and this woman was bawling, and I was like, okay, but it was just, and she's like, I feel so good, and we talked about other things besides immigration, family life, being mothers, trying to decide, you know, yeah. Thank you. And so, but anyway, I think that those are all the questions we have tonight. So yeah, so this video will be up. If you need to go through all those updates so you know what's going on. Thank you. She's crazy too. Don't get it twisted. But we thank God for this month. It's 10th month of 2025. This month of October, we're trusting God for his mercies. If you do nothing else, listen. If you hear nothing else, decide within yourself that in spite of what may come, regardless of the news that you may come, even if it's not good news, we're praying for good news, but life happens. So if it's not something, in spite of what may come your way, be resolute in the sense of you're going to be positive about your reaction. You're going to be hopeful about your reaction. You're going to take a stance that it's going to be well with me and my household. It may not look like it's working in our favor yet, but because I know that God is not man that he should lie, and because he has spoken and he has promised that the lines will fall for me and my household in pleasant places, because he has promised that what the plans he has for me are not for evil but of good, to give me a future and hope and bring me to an expected end. And so if it's not looking like that expected end, that means it is not the expected end. This is just a detour along the way. The detour is not supposed to look nice. That's why it's a detour. If you think about when you're going through construction, when you have a detour to take, it's usually not the smoothest place. But when you finally go through that, you get to the other side of it, it looks much smoother. You're connected to where you're going. That's how you look at life as well. Knowing that even if the detour doesn't look, it looks bumpy, it is rough, it is not what you expected. That's okay, because it's not the expected end. And knowing that you're going to have faith, like Abraham, he hopes against hope. When you hope against hope, it doesn't make sense. That's hoping against hope. That it doesn't make sense for you to keep believing that God and trusting that God is going to do it. But that's where it comes into play, where you hope against hope because you know he's going to do it. He's going to do it because he has promised he will do it. Because said, the once has he spoken, twice have I heard that all power belongs to him. And if he's the God who gives every good and perfect gift comes from him. And if you believe and know, then that's what it's going to be. So this month, take charge, knowing that God is in control and he has given you that assurance that it's going to work out in your favor. We're not going to believe that you're not going to end this year without getting to that expected end. And so don't let the distractions and the detours be a distraction. That's what it's there for. The detour is supposed to be a distraction. It's not the final destination. And when you know that God is able to do more than what he has, beyond what you can ever ask or think, he's going to do it. And so shall it be. So we are speaking favor, we're speaking greatness, we're speaking mercy, we're speaking fruitfulness, we're speaking goodness, we're speaking divine intervention, we're speaking breakthroughs, we're speaking on unprecedented testimonies, unparalleled favor this year and this month and beyond, knowing that we would, at the end of it all the glory will be returned to him. Happy new month, everyone. It's going to be a great month. Trust and believe, hope against hope, that is going to work out in your favor. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.